You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
Okay, welcome. We'll call the Board of Selectmen's meeting, January 16, 2019 order. Item 1, to approve the Board of Selectmen minutes for October 17, 2018, November 7th, which was a special meeting, and November 28, 2018, which was a special meeting. I put those forward in the form of a motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 2, executive session to discuss pending tax appeals with Attorney Jim Perito. Can I get a motion? I'll put forward a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford. You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford.
All right, can I get a motion to go back into regular session?
So moved.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. For the record, we're back in regular session, and no votes were taken while in executive session. Put forward a motion to accept the proposed settlement for the air gas versus Town of Branford settlement as presented by Attorney Perito.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Item 3, to consider and if appropriate approve a request from Scott Denhart, tradesman, to waive the bid for the removal and replacement of 2 combination toilet lab fixtures at the police department and award the contract to Best Connection Plumbing in the amount of $13,792.68. Scott?
How are you?
Hey, Scott.
I'm coming before you guys again, not again, but Otto Berger, I've been here one time to get this approved. The company that we pulled the purchase order for failed to act in a timely manner. The purchase order was pulled back in, I think, May of 2018. So we pretty much got rid of them, almost got rid of them, and got a new proposal from Best Connections. They came in at $13,792.68, which is higher than the original price, but Macri, who was the original contractor, increased their original proposal due to material costs, and we said no, and they said, okay, well, we're not interested, so.
Yeah, I think there was escalation, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Escalation in the
It
materials.
was about $1,500.
And they could no longer honor that. And then, but Scott, just to clarify, I think you also upgraded, though, the type of system
Yeah,
that
the
we're gonna
controls
put in,
on the original units are like a pneumatic control. We're going with an electronic control on the new ones. It's kind of bringing it into the, modern day technology. So it's going to be hopefully less problematic than the ones that we had.
I'll make a motion to accept.
All right, so I second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Item 4, to consider and if appropriate approve a request from Gary Zelinski, Highway Supervisor, to waive the bid for the purchase of a 2011 John Deere 50D mini excavator in the amount of $37,000 from W.I. Clark. Gary?
Good evening.
Hi, Gary.
How you doing? Yeah, we'd like to request a waiver advertising and bidding requirements for the purchase of a 2011 John Deere 50D mini excavator in the amount of $37,000 from the W.I. Clark Company. Public Works is going to utilize the mini excavator for drainage projects, ditch and culvert cleaning, brush cutting, and town trail maintenance, roadside maintenance, brush cutting, and regrading swales and stuff. We have a lot of problems with that. The machine itself is the right size for us to get into a lot of hard-to-get-to areas in town, such as a lot of the town-owned trails and stuff. So, and a lot of drainage ditches that we just can't, even this year, we can't get in there with big, heavy rubber-tired machines. It's just too wet. So with a mini excavator like this, with the weight displacement over rubber tracks, we can really get into these areas. Anyway, the John Deere mini excavator currently has just over 3,000 hours. W.I. Clark has performed all scheduled maintenance, and our department's mechanics as well as DPW operators have tested it and checked it over and determined it's in excellent condition and at a good price. Now, the cost of a brand-new 2019 mini excavator, same size 50D, is approximately $70,000. I've looked over a lot of John Deere 50Ds 2011, and this is a great price for what we're picking it up for at $37,000. There's quite a few of them out there. The hours are a little different, just either plus or minus, but they're all in the $40,000 range, a little over 40,000. Actually, we were able to get W.I. Clark to come down. They had theirs listed at 41.5, and we got it down to 37. So,
So Gary, just to be clear for the camera, this is, you're buying a used one.
it's used, yes,
And
2011.
one other quick question, you have the money in your budget?
Excuse me?
You have the money in your budget?
Yes.
For it? I'll make a motion we approve.
All right, second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks. To consider and if appropriate, approve a request from Kevin Howland, Police Chief, to waive the bid for the repairs of the HVAC system at the firing range and award the contract to Carey Small Arms Range Ventilation in the amount of $24,615. This is at the practice range at the PD. The Chief was unable to attend tonight. This is a type of system that they have in there, and the installation is what exists, so there's a lot of equipment that they're going to keep in place, I believe, and that's kind of, it's not technically sole source, or we weren't sure if it really met the requirements. However, given the fact that we didn't want to replace everything, which if we went out to bid, we probably would have to, Chief elected to come forward and have a waive a bid for this.
And it's my understanding that the Board of Police Commissioners unanimously approved this?
Yes, they approve this, and this work will be done on, or with asset forfeiture funds.
So it's not even
It's not, it's
coming
not
out of his
tax
budget?
dollars.
I'll make a motion we approve.
All right, I second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 6, to consider and if appropriate, approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that it is in the best interest of the town of Branford to enter into contracts with the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. This resolution is necessary for the 2019 pump-out grant. I put that forward in the form of a motion.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item 7, green use, to consider and if appropriate, approve a request from the Shoreline Chamber of Commerce for the use of the town grant on April 27, 2019 for the annual chili challenge. Put that forward in form of a motion.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
To consider and if appropriate, approve a request from the Branford Community Gardens for the use of the town green on May 18, 2019, August 17, 2019, to hold a plant and produce sale. Put that forward in form of a motion.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
To consider and if appropriate, approve a request from Mothers Against Drunk Driving for the use of the town green October 5th, 2019, to hold the annual Mad Walk. Put that forward in form of a motion.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. To consider and if appropriate, approve a request from the Branford Compassion Club for the use of the town green on October 6, 2019, to hold the annual Animal Awareness Day. Put forward in form of a motion.
Second?
Discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
To consider and if appropriate, approve a request for the 375th Committee and the Columbus Day Parade Committee for the use of the town green on October 13, 2019, to hold a Columbus Day Parade. Put that forward in a form of motion.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 8, to consider and if appropriate, approve the formation of a Clean Energy Ad Hoc Committee to investigate options and make recommendations to the First Selectman in achieving or surpassing the state of Connecticut greenhouse gas emissions reduction targets. I put that forward in a form of a motion.
Second?
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 9, appointments to the Clean Energy Ad Hoc Committee. Shirley McCarthy, Frank Gasparo, Robert Silton, Greg Ames, William Horn, Chris Lenda, and Richard Saltz. Put that forward in the form of a motion.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Reappointments, item 10, Board of Fire Commissioners Kathy Fox and Paul Riccios, terms to expire January 31st, 2022. I put that forward in the form of a motion.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Greater New Haven Transit District, Dagmar Ridgway and Arthur Pappas, terms to expire December 31st, 2023. Put that forward in the form of a motion.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Human Services Board, Jane Novick and Sarah Lockery, terms to expire December 31st, 2021. I put that forward in the form of a motion.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Actually, a appointment to the Shellfish Commission, Donald Hennessy, to fill a vacancy left by Jay Jones, term to expire August 31st, 2021. Put that forward in the form of a motion.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item 11, I don't believe we have any correspondence. Item 12, any other business? Yes, sir. Please come forward and state your name.
Hi, my name's Ted Zeus, 117 South Montewies. We had presented to the Board of Selectmen about 9 months ago a petition to consider for possible evaluation and review of the Branford Housing Authority members, and at that time we had asked for the Board of Selectmen to remove them for cause, and we had provided a fairly significant amount of information and evidence relating to what our concerns were regarding the conduct of the existing Branford Housing Authority. I'm here this evening to see, it's been 9 months, to see if there's any progress in that and sort of what the future in that direction holds.
So I do recall your petition, which had a number of charges that were within that petition stated. I believe, in my opinion, the most serious one was in regards to the handling of funds.
Yep.
And that we engaged a outside auditor to review the audits that were done, review the financial statements, and then provide a report to the town, which has been concluded, but we have not, this was just actually in the past week. And we'll be scheduling a meeting to review the report with the auditor.
Understood. So one of the primary concerns were that the Freedom of Information Commission had met and had a hearing with the officers of the Branford Housing Authority, as well as the people who had filed the Freedom of Information request, looking for financial records from 2014 and 2015, which were the years in question. And at that time, on the record, under oath, the chair of the Branford Housing Authority indicated to the Freedom of Information Commission from the state that, to his knowledge, no financial records existed for those 2 years. And we had provided both the transcript and the findings of fact from the Freedom of Information Commission to your board, as well as a copy of the audio tape where that interchange had taken place. So that remains an ongoing concern. I don't know whether the current audit activity that has taken place covers those 2 years or not, but I'm just sort of reiterating that that was the area of concern. And part of the concern there had to do with the fact that the town or the housing authority had received state grants during that time for projects that had already been previously funded and not done. And so there seems to be a pattern of soliciting funds from the state or outside sources, receiving the money, the projects don't get done, and then filing again for additional grant money for the exact same projects over and over again. An example of that being the replacement of the windows at the facility at Parkside 1 and 2, the replacement of the roofs, and the installation of elevators. And having gone back and looked at all of those applications and for the funds that were awarded, and then also seeing the email traffic that was obtained under Freedom of Information following that, it seems like a lot of public money had been redispersed to other either consultants or other kinds of projects that they were interested in doing and not actually utilized for the purposes that the grant had allocated the funds to. And so I think where we find ourselves today is that we have a housing authority that has a facility that has not been maintained, and I think that's a reasonable statement of fact, and it's actually almost to the point where we're at demolition by neglect, where they are now have been in front of your board, have been in front of planning and zoning, looking for additional public dollars to actually tear the entire facility down and to replace it. And what we know in going back and looking at all the grant money they've received, and also doing sort of an outside-in evaluation of the amount of funds that they should have, that by any reasonable standard, the public concern is that the facility has not been maintained to a level of a maintenance level that would be acceptable with the town of Branford or in keeping with the citizens in Branford. I would also say that, there's concern at the present time that the vacancy rate at the unit is escalating. There are some concerns about management's relationship with the current tenants that are there, tenants who aren't comfortable with how they're treated by management. We're aware of that. And so I guess the concern is, I don't know how long this can continue to go on. I think that the tenants who live there deserve to live in a better facility. I think the citizens of the town of Branford deserve to have the ability to see what's actually going on with the public funds and have there be some transparency as required by the state. And it really feels like an evaluation of management and a change in the management of what's going on with the senior housing in Branford would be warranted. So we're here to express that concern.
Okay, I mean, I know you are aware because we had many conversations, so, but we are for the public's, letting them know, because I just want to be clear on a couple of those statements that,
Sure.
I know you didn't mean to attend it, but you realize the housing authority in the property itself is separate, is autonomous from the town of Branford or the municipal of Branford. This board appoints the members to the board. I know you cited some recourse statutes that you feel, with that petition, that's what brought this petition forward. But when, in terms of, and I think you had raised some valid concerns in terms of vacancy rate, maintenance, and those are all things that, should be, addressed. But I just want to be clear for the public's knowledge that, this is, the housing authority itself is autonomous from the, although the name is Branford Housing Authority, it's not a municipal agency. The housing stock falls under the Connecticut Department of Housing stock. The building itself falls under that. So, but I agree with you that the building ought to be maintained, that funds ought to be used efficiently and effectively to maintain that building, and we have to ensure that we are optimizing any opportunities for filling any vacancies that we have.
Right, well, so I'm aware that some vacancies are coming up.
Right.
And so one of the other concerns would be the qualifications of people who are evaluated and whether people really have building management skills, whether they have construction skills, and whether they have the knowledge and actual property management, so they actually can see what they're looking at. And I would also say that the financial recording, or lack thereof, as demonstrated both by the FOI, the inability for the Branford Housing Authority to provide any financial requests from the public over the last 4 years. People who have requested 4 years ago still have been presented with nothing related to how the finances work over there or what they have done. And the fact that the audit, we congratulate you for doing the audit now, but there's also a gap in the audit history for the Housing Authority that is required by law that's gone on for almost 10 years.
Right, and to be clear, though, I just want, the petition, the charges that were brought forward in that petition, that information was shared with the independent auditor.
Yep.
And asked to review that, so when I have that meeting and the report, then, they could specifically answer those charges that were brought forward. So I just wanted to.
That'd be great.
As far as the years that were selected and how they're selected, but particular information that you did request through that, or charges that were brought forward, it was asked that those be addressed. So this
Great.
body can then make a decision
Right.
on the petition.
So to wrap up, I guess the question is just to manage your expectations about how this sort of goes forward. Is there a resolution on this in the near future, or will this continue? What should people
Well,
think about how it's going to go?
As I stated, I just received notification Monday that the audit was complete, the report was forwarded, and we would meet and discuss it. So I have to arrange that meeting, and then we'll make a decision where to go from there. There were additional charges brought in that petition, and we have to evaluate those and charges as well. But the most serious one, I feel, was the charge of financial mismanagement.
Got it. All right, thank you so much, appreciate it.
Any other? No? All right. Can I put forward a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.